Hi. Hi, everyone. We're up close and personal today. Thought I would just try this. Also, because I kind of really don't like showing my body. So we're gonna try this closer shot of just my head. So welcome. Come on in. You've made it to my YouTube channel. My name's Audrey. I am a psychic medium. And I like to talk about different things going on because I can tap into people's energy who are living, and I can tap into people's energies who are past. Energy never dies. Energy's here on earth, energy's out in the universe, energy is everywhere. So a lot of times I will end up talking to murder victims, which is fascinating and informative. Um, but today I have some information, as I mentioned in the last video. I need to get this information out before it becomes public, regarding these two terrorists, Jodi Hildabrandt and Ruby Franke, which is who we're going to talk about, and the six kids and all that. Awful, awful story. It's awful. So before we get started, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button. It's free, it's free, it's free. It doesn't make you belong to any cult. It doesn't make you responsible for any payments. You don't have to send comments or be involved if you don't want. Just sit back, relax. Play words with friends while you listen to me or just stare at me. I don't care. I'm just glad you're here today. And I do have some other stuff I want to talk about. I have some Murdaugh stuff I want to talk about. Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher. I have 2 cents. I have opinions on that. I have a lot of opinions. So we're going to only probably end up talking about this YouTuber today because I tend to go on and on basically with this situation. So I'm going to tell you right off the bat because I don't want you to get bored and not hear this important information that I have to say. Okay? So I'm a psychic. That's who I am. That's what I am. And if you've been on the channel even for a little bit, I mean, I am getting the chills right now, which typically means I have a spirit here or a spirit trying to be here with me. So I will let you know if the spirit tells me who it is. Excuse me. Yeah, the spirit's right here. I don't know why. I don't know why sometimes they're here, they're there, they're all over the place. I don't know what the location means, but I just like to share everything about my experience of channeling. So I can look at photos of someone and really analyze their character, what's going on in their life, who are they, who were they, maybe in earlier years. I can tell a lot. And I'm pretty accurate. I'm pretty freaking accurate on people. I have to say, I wouldn't be sharing this if I wasn't accurate. Because it wouldn't matter if I wasn't accurate, right? So the first day I heard about this Ruby Franke YouTuber, 8 passengers, her and her husband, their 6 kids. And I had to look at her. I had to look at Ruby. Whatever, not impressed. And then I looked at her friend, Jodi Hildabrandt. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. I didn't get any information that day. I just was absorbing the awful facts of the case regarding the abuse. Not only the abuse of the kids, but the abuse of the internet and parents looking for help. And, the abuse is above and beyond what we see on the surface with these two. So the next day, as my brain is processing information, I don't know how anyone else processes information, but as my brain is processing this information and I get flashes of their faces, or just the words that I've read or the words that I've heard in these videos, stories on YouTube about them. I'm just processing lots of information. It was revealed to me by spirit. Now, did you pay attention in my opening of this video? These are my opinions, feelings, emotions. These are mine. Nobody owns my feelings. No one owns my visions. And I'm not going to give them away. I would never give that right to somebody. I own my own feelings. I own my psychic abilities. The visions I am given are mine. They were given to me. I own them. And I choose to share that with you on my channel. So what I have been shown by spirit, which I can't prove, but this is going to come out. What I'm going to tell you right now is going to come out and it will be proved. And that is this. These two religious women were in a relationship. Okay? I don't care if you're gay. Most of the world doesn't care if you're gay. But it's certainly a problem if you're Mormon and you're full-blown cult and you're a marriage counselor. That's a problem. And these two women were in a full-blown freaking relationship. That's what I've been shown. So what? Are you saying you don't like gay people? I don't care one way or another if you're gay, trans, bisexual. I don't care. That's not the point. The point is, do I need to point it out, really? It makes this situation even more severe, even more serious, even more terrible for these kids. And I think the husband might maybe have suspicions about this. Kevin, the husband. Everyone's pissed off at Kevin because they say he knew about the kids being abused and all that. I don't have any information on that yet from spirit. My humanness, my human brain would, if it was just me thinking, like I mentioned, I would probably say he knew, but that's my human brain. But when I report to you guys, I like to report from the perspective of spirit information for you, because that's completely different than my mind and my brain just coming up with a response. They're two completely different responses. The information comes from two different complete places. So this is very, very complicated, this abuse, this case, this criminal case. Thank God, thank God none of these kids died. Because I could see that coming in the future. If things continued the way they were, it's my understanding that the little boy, the 12-year-old, is his name Russell? Did I hear Russell somewhere? I thought I wrote down a name. I think think I heard the name Russell on video or something. I think Russell has had skin infections from the binding on his wrists and his ankles. I mean, this kid's messed up. It's like these kids don't even understand what a real mom is supposed to be like what's a real family supposed to be like. How should a mom treat you? Excuse me. How how should I have been treated? They're so used to the abuse, that's all they know. And I think as these kids get older, I have my hands in my pockets down here because I don't want to put them on the table and start shaking the table. I think as time goes by, these kids are going to realize the crappy hand they were dealt. Again, it's my belief. We decide, we agree, we know who we're going to be before we come down to the planet. Why would somebody want to be these kids? I don't know. I don't know. Perhaps if I did a reading with the person, I could get some information and insight maybe on their pre-birth experience and just, their energy. Maybe I'd find out some information about that. But I think there's going to be a lot of anger problems with these kids. If not already, it's coming. And I'm not trying to curse them. I'm trying to say it would be completely understandable and expected if these kids start acting out and having panic attacks, anxiety, anger, depression, and all of these bad things that were caused from being abused probably most of their life. I'm going to give you some parent advice, Ruby and Jodi. Keep your head down in jail and do not make eye contact with anybody, because what you have done is going to make other inmates very upset. And no matter what happens to these two ladies in jail, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like bad things happening to people getting beat up, but honestly, these two women are probably in danger in jail. So I don't know if they can be put in isolation, whatever it's called. These two ladies have failed, in my opinion. They have failed as women. They have failed as a mother. You have failed as a YouTuber. You have failed as a marriage counselor. You've even failed at your own cult. Your own cult doesn't even want you because you failed. You failed as a neighbor. You failed at life, both of you, in my opinion. What is left? What is left here for these two women? How are they going to recover from this? You think you're ever going to be hired by somebody? Do you think you can come back on YouTube or anywhere else and let anyone see your face? There's no. Well, where's the future for you? What is your future? Other than walking around prison all day, that's the rest of your life. And that's sad. That is really sad because we all basically have the same, at least here in the US. I'll to say, generally speaking, we all have the same opportunities. It's like people you knew in school growing up. It's like I used to see one guy I went to junior high and high school with. He became a drug addict and a bum on the streets, and he died. I think we were like 35, I think, when he died. He was fine in school. He was a nice kid and everything. But he went one way and other people went the other way, and he ended up losing his life. That was his choice. The choices we make affect our future. Our life today is a reflection of our past decisions. Does that make sense? That's a real thing. And I had an attorney tell me that. I had a lady attorney from one of my divorces. I got to laugh at my divorces. I just do. They're ridiculous. When I was divorcing Johnny's dad, she's like, you need to get your act together. Like you're here because of the choices you made. I mean, yes, he beat you up and he did all these things, but you really need to think about things before um making commitments to somebody, and really investigating things before you make a commitment. But we have to be responsible. But where were the police? Where was the Child Protective Services? I think they don't call it CPS, I think, in Utah, but we call it CPS here in California. So where was CPS? Where were the cops? They came to the house 15 times. Well, let's see. The windows were covered up with paper, or the kids were cowering in the background, hiding, or, excuse after excuse after excuse. These kids were let down by the system. There's two sides to every story, I know, but please explain to me why 15 times nothing happened. And I know some people are upset at the older siblings who left. I don't what could they do? I don't know. I don't have any information on them psychically, but if it were me, I probably would have taken things to the next step. I would have, I don't know, I would have called the FBI. I don't know who to call, but I would have called somebody for help. I would tell everybody. I would go to the news station. I'd go to the local news and say, look, this is what's happening. And the CPS and the police haven't done anything. Call your governor, call your mayor, but it's hard to say. These kids are young, these teenagers, but, you know, about a year ago, one of my sisters told me a few things that happened when she was growing up at home. And she's much younger than me and my brother. There's a big age gap between me and the next kid. It's me and my brother, or my brother, me, and then skip 9 years, excuse me, and then the two girls. And so one of my sisters was telling me things that I never knew. I had already gotten married to husband number 1 and 2, and I was, I didn't live near there. I never went to San Jose. I was in Santa Cruz, and I didn't know what was happening at that house. It was before cell phones and stuff. But when I found out about a year ago of things my sister went through at home, it made me sick to my stomach. I hurt so bad for her. If I knew, things would have probably turned out different because I would not have let her stay there. I was old enough. I would have had her come and live with me. I would have changed my whole world around to take care of my sister, because nobody should be abused. And it makes me cry on the inside and out of a couple of things that I heard, and I never knew. I never knew that these couple things happened, and there's probably more. She just doesn't want to tell me. So we have CPS and the police department. I don't know. Did the police not want to do paperwork, or I don't know what the laws are out there for child abuse. I don't know. But why weren't these kids taken care of? It's clear, excuse me, it's clear that the school was concerned about the kids not eating and getting lunch or allowed to eat at school if they forgot their lunch at home. No excuse. That I don't know. I don't know if anyone at the school, I don't know if any staff from the schools of these children, six children, did any of the schools call CPS ever? You don't have to work at a school to be a mandated reporter. If you're a human being, you're a mandate reporter. You must call for help. Well, Audrey, it's going to ruin their whole life. They may get the kids taken away from them. I know. There's consequences. But wouldn't you rather have the kids separated and safe than living with this crazy woman? I would. That's the chance you take. It's a serious thing. We've had to call during my 16 years at the one school that I was most recently at. I think I've called 3 times myself. There's things you cannot ignore. So, and where I worked, it was a private school. Parents are paying 25 grand a year, even for preschool. Um, you know, so like some people at work, they're like, well, the parents are at work. They can't deal with the CPS, and they're going to get mad and withdraw the kid from school if they know that we called CPS. So we have the 2 terrorists. I feel like Hildabrandt, she's like a cross between Hitler and Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter. The Order of the Phoenix. Have you seen that movie? We watched it last night. I always have Harry Potter on somewhere, somehow. We were watching The Order of the Phoenix last night, and that's the one where Dolores Umbridge from the corporate office, from the Ministry of Magic, comes to Hogwarts and takes over, basically. And Harry Potter was talking back, and so she made him go to detention. And his detention was he had to write, lines on paper saying, I must not tell lies. And she had a special quill. The quill had built-in invisible powers. And so as he wrote, I must not tell lies, it showed up here as blood scratching, tearing into the top of his hand. I must not tell lies. And she did this to a bunch of kids. And so Hermione and Ron are like, you got to tell Dumbledore that she's abusing you. What will the parents think? And Harry's like, well, I don't have parents, so what's the point? The point is we have to call out abusers. We can't ignore things. It's uncomfortable sometimes turning in somebody, or it's just hard. It's just hard. It's a yucky situation, all of it. So I heard that both of these women are ill. From what? I don't know. I heard they're both sick. They both had to go to the doctor or whatever, hospital, jail hospital. I don't know what it's called. Infirmary, is that what it's called? So I'm not sure. But like I said at the beginning of this video, There's more that's going to be exposed because I'm telling you, they were in a relationship. So that'll be interesting. I can't wait for that information to come out. So again, I don't care if they're gay. I don't care at all. But I think it does tell a lot about the uh, severity of the abuse, and that not only was Jodi being a sort of therapist, a family therapist, she's also controlling Ruby in a way as a partner. Like, hey, I don't want your kids acting like this. You know, we're going to do this. Let's like they're a couple. So when you have um, a new partner, relationship partner, and they don't like the way your kids are acting, you know, they're going to make recommendations and have complaints. And then the partner starts treating her kids in this other way to appease this other person. So that's my video for today. Oh, God. These things are ugly. So we'll stay on top of this one. There's going to be a lot more. And you know, there's people right now suffering in the same way these kids did. So that needs to stop. And I pray that the cops and the CPS everywhere on the planet are taking these phone calls seriously. You know, don't go out to the site and be talked into by the parent that everything's fine. I don't need to tell you that. You go to school to be a social worker, and you should know what to look for. I think cops should have that degree as well. They need a little more education. I think a lot of these police. But that's just me. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Please hit that subscribe button before you get out of here. I'll see you soon. We're going to talk about Murdaugh and some other stuff coming up, and I'll see you soon. All right, take care. Ciao.